All right, so welcome back to another video. This is going to be a network automation video to help prepare for my new job on the 27th. Still at this point waiting on the final confirmation of my background check, all that sort of thing, but things are looking really good. So let's keep working towards being prepared. So I've got the book here, Kindle Reader. One thing you might notice, I'm completely bright white right now. I'm trying something new where I sit facing the window. I just think because this new position is completely remote and I haven't really done anything like that. So I'm trying to find like the perfect thing, and then if I need to do conference calls or anything like that, I kind of want to be really solid in my video presence. So I've ordered a cable for my microphone. It's in the mail now, and I'm hoping that that'll give it power, so I won't need to rely on the batteries, and then I'm hoping I can just use that. I've got this. I've got a large TV as well for my. Yeah, so I'm staring at this huge TV for my second screen. Screen space is not an issue at all for me. So you may have noticed that there's this there's this awful squeaking sound that I can't stand, and there's a styrofoam stand for it. Well, they said it would come with 2 legs, and they only sent me 1 leg. So I don't know how I can deal with this, because the TV won't sit up if it's only got 1 of its legs. So I'm just using the styrofoam for now, even though I can't handle that sound, and it cuts off the bottom of the screen, so I can't even see like the toolbar. All right, but let's just keep going on this book here, and I'm already, I'm almost 30% of the way through it, which is, I think, a really good chunk. So one thing I am having trouble with, though, is the Nexus routers are kind of not playing nice anymore. They're the ones that were existing and configured the way I needed them to be. Oops. Yeah, even right now, yes, so they're stuck at the, yeah, so here they're not able to even pull up a console on. Yeah, even the other ones. So the Nexus switches are really not working for me. The Ubuntu switch. Oh, okay. I think I just need to stop and restart. I should probably set it up to only stay on. I can do that. That's really easy. All right, so here's the control server. So I'm going to need to figure out where I left off. It's been a while since I've worked on these. The videos I made before to prepare, I had the day off from work, so I'm still working full time at my current job until they until I get the final guarantee call that this new job is going to go through. So I don't have time to make videos like these when there's full work days, especially since I'm working towards another exam that will help me with my career. Although with the coronavirus, it's turning out to be kind of a tough call for me to continue working on that, because the only testing center is in Sunnydale, California, and I'm in Texas, so I'd have to travel by car. I'd have to do an overnight, and even then it would be a lot of driving, like 2 12-hour days of driving, which, I mean, I've driven cross country before, and I found that 6 to 8 hours is really the most realistic time that you can just drive, at least for me. All right. So that would put me at like 4 days of travel. Yeah, I think the cross-country trip I took was from Madison to Seattle. And sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent here. This is meant to be a network automation video, but these are a lot of things I have to kind of think about in my life right now. Unfortunately, my future, the things I plan to do in the fall, are really, really strongly affected by the coronavirus. I really can't just go about business as usual. So yeah, the longest drive I've ever done was 28 hours, but Sunnydale, California, or Sunnyville, California, to Austin, Texas. Yeah, that's going to be 25 hours or 27, depending on the route I take. So I'm going to take the 25-hour route, of course, but there's probably tolls along that route too. Well, I don't know about that. But it's 3 hours less than the longest trip I've ever taken in my life. And it took me more than just 2 nights to take that long trip. So yeah, I don't know if I could take this in 2 nights. I'm gonna have to fly, which is gonna be stressful given the pandemic. It's just, if there's a way I can take a test remotely, I would rather do that. If Juniper's not going to allow for that, it's not going to kind of take care of their test takers, I just can't take that test. So again, this is a tangent, but this is really what's foremost on my mind, because as far as my career taking off, some expert level exam like this is, I think, going to be the most important thing. So I would like to take the, so they retired the written exam, which I already passed because I have the CCNP. So now they have an 8-hour exam, and there might be remote options for the IE, but not a remote options for the Juniper IE. So as of right now, all test centers are simply closed. You just simply cannot take one of these tests right now, which is really unfortunate. But I kind of, in another video, I gave this test kind of a rant talking about how it's unreasonable for them to expect a lot of real world experience, but I think went a little bit too far, because this is the absolute end all final exam. So, if you were a doctor, you would do a residency. So I think it is fair to expect some kind of professional experience before an exam like this, but I do still think that it's unfair to expect a certain amount of it. Like a little bit of professional experience, that's fair, but extensive hands-on, 20-year career, it's just not fair to expect that. All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna pull up, see where I left off. So this is Ansible playbook. So Cisco 3, it looks like where I left off. Let's see how that is going. Oops. Oh, I think I made a special file. No, okay, so it looks like I didn't get to Cisco 3 yet. I was still on Cisco 2. I think that's where my bookmark is as well. Let's just jump to my bookmark. Oops, there, I just added a bookmark. This is to jump to my bookmark. Perfect. Oh, okay, so according to my bookmark, I did make it to Cisco 3. I just don't see it in my files. I'm going to need to take a short break. I'll be back soon. I'm just going to pause the recording and then be back soon. All right, welcome back. I do have another external webcam that might be better than this. I wonder if the reason I look absolutely completely white is because I'm just using my laptop camera. It might be too low of quality. But let's try to get Cisco 2_2.yaml to work. So of course we're going to have a lab working in Reachable, and as I was saying before, yep, so it's stuck at this booter menu, and then not only that, I don't remember the password that I chose. Oh, and even if I did, this one's stuck at the booter menu as well. There's no BIOS found or anything. So failing to loader. So I think I'm gonna do a Google search for this message. Oops, and I accidentally deleted everything. So let's see here. Here we go. So I liked that second one a little bit better. There we go, perfect. Oh, yeah, I think I had auto provision. Yeah, I had auto provision set up. Yeah, so I might need to go through all those steps. I can do that. Just need a mouse. All right. And I do have that large TV that I can use. Make things a bit easier on me. So I think I'm gonna switch my share over to that one. Okay, so yeah, now I'm sharing whatever on that large TV, so I can have the camera pointed at me more, and I'm gonna be looking more up to that. Oh yeah, I really like working on this a lot better. So let's pull up GNS on there. If I had those stands that they said they would actually send me, it would be even better, but they only sent me one, and tried digging through the box some more. But all right, so okay, so I've got to follow the instructions that they had. So let me see here. Yeah, here's the instructions. So I've got to delete it from the workspace on my project. So I've got to delete these here, and I can put the instructions up there side by side. It's kind of more convenient for me to have it on two different screens, but if I'm sharing, it's going to be more convenient to, or it's going to be better to have it there. So we're going to delete these from the, yep, so permanently delete those 4 nodes. Yep, sounds good. All right, so then we're going to go to GNS3 toolbar, and we're going to do edit preferences, VMs. Oops, I did manage snapshots. Meant to do edit preferences. Oh, this is kind of too bad. It bleeds off the screen, it looks like. I wonder if there's a settings I can do. Yeah, aspect. So let's see here. Yep, I've got it set to wide. There's cinema. There's normal, zoom, wide, cinema, normal, zoom. So none of those are good because all of them run off the edge of the screen. One thing I could do is probably open up my display settings. You can see how I've got these arranged right now. It's detecting the upper one as a smaller screen, which is not correct. That could have something to do with it. So, yeah, this is definitely screen 2 on the top, even though it's a smaller one. So it'd be nice if, here we go. Maybe I can change the, so is that going to help? Nope, it's still running off. It's almost like I need to make it smaller, like 90%, but I don't have that option. Yeah, like that's the option I need because I need to make it like 90%, but it looks like it's grayed out. Oh. No, yeah, that's not going to work. It looks like I can't make it 90%. Because I'd be okay with even a little bit of black space. In fact, that'd be perfect because I can't see the bottom because I have to use that styrofoam holder because of the way, because they forgot to send me my second stand. So, yeah, it looks like it's just this TV kind of leaves a little bit to be desired. I mean, I like it, and I got it through my current job. We get like special bonus points depending on if we have an anniversary or anything. So that ultimately, after 5 years, led to me getting a decent TV. I also got a. I tried to get like a. I have a lake in the back of my apartment, and there's some kind of like I got a microscope too because I wanted to look at some stuff, see if I could make some slides, but it turned out to be a child play toy. So it's like I don't even know what to do with it now. Thinking about like throwing it away or something. All right. But let's see. Right, okay. So, oh yeah, let's keep following these instructions. Oops, and it looks like this. Yeah, it's nice that I can use the quadrant mode because the screen is big enough to allow me to do that. Oh, and I can even put myself up there if you want to see me. I don't know why you would, but there you go. All right, so let's see here. Okay, so yep, now we're doing edits. Yeah, I kind of got sidetracked because I wanted to make that work better. Right now it's bleeding off the screen. Okay, so preferences, QMO VMs, and then we're going to select the one in question. That's going to be this one. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to have to delete it and re-import it, unfortunately. Now I got to close down and restart. Oh, and it looks like I've got to restart GNS3, which means because this is just my clients and I've got it running on a server, so I've got to go into the server and actually restart GNS3, which I can do. It's just kind of annoying, and it's going to take a while. I can certainly do that. All right. Oops, I like to use the console tab. Whenever I don't use that, I end up having a problem where I just got to go and use it. All right, so the VM is rebooting. So that was step 6. So step 7 is going to be re-importing. I hope I still have the image. I might have deleted it, especially if it was in my downloads folder because I'm running out of space. So let's bring up a command prompt, and the server is going to be at 102. Oh, so it looks like it is up. So let's pull up GNS. We're on step 7. All right, so now we got to re-import. So we're going to do new. Name, it's going to be Cisco Nexus 9K. Actually, we're not going to do new. We're going to click on the kind of device type it is, which will be all devices. And then we'll do new template. Yep, and then we're going to install it from the GNS server. So this is a switch, and it's a Cisco NX 9000. Aha, so here we go. Version 9.3.1 is ready to install. Perfect. So that wasn't difficult at all. So now we need to shut down GNS again. We need to do another restart. Don't know if it's necessary or not, but I will follow the instructions exactly. All right, so that's good news. Oh, yeah, looks like it's back up. Really fast reboot. I like that. So next step, drag it onto your workspace without starting it. It's like the server's not quite up yet. Okay, now it's up, but the other project is still down. There we go. Perfect. So now we're going to be dragging it. All right, it is dragged. So now these are, so step 11 here, these aren't even numbered steps because they really require a lot of attention. So the first one, so pay attention to typing in Y when it asks you to abort auto provision. I have to type Y. If I'm late, then it will go into that prompt. So, but then there I get the chance to enter commands. So I just have that one kind of quick twitch moment that I've got to be prepared for. So, okay, so we've got to start it. Then we've got to pay attention to typing in Y. So I've got my left hand on the Y button. So I'm going to do start. I'm going to do console. And and I'm going to pay attention to start auto provision, and I'm going to hit Y. I probably also need to hit enter. Oh, so it looks like things are happening now. Aha, here we go. So we've got some text. Let's keep an eye out for that auto boot provisioner. Maybe not full screen since there's things running off the screen. This looks better. So it's going to be abort auto provision. We're going to have to hit Y when that comes up. Oh. Ah, here we go. Perfect. So right now we're on check boot flash. We're on saving other metadata. Trying to mount to CD-ROM. All right, so this part is done. And this looks like this was, see if we got any, okay. So now it's loading the system software, installing local RPMS. Looks like it's setting up Docker, that's interesting. This is the MCE log daemon. Populating comp files for hybrid sysmanager, starting hybrid sysmanager. We're looking for abort auto provision. We're going to hit Y when that comes up. So NetStack looks like registration with CLI server is complete. And that looks like more of a standard syslog message with the timestamp and then an identifier for the message and then more details. My finger's off the Y button. Put it back right back on. Okay, so control plane is undetected. Oops, system is coming up, so I have a feeling when the system is up, that's when I'll be asked to abort auto provision. So I think it's going to come up really soon, that prompt. Yeah, I'm really liking this setup with this large TV that I'm looking at, and then I can look out the window at any time just leaning over. It's something I like to kind of be able to do. And then I've got natural light coming in, which unfortunately I'm not sure my camera can handle because it just saturates the colors too much, but it's, I think so far it's working out pretty well. So we're still waiting to I am getting a prompt here. So auto provisioning, abort power auto provisioning. So I've got to hit yes here. Oh, I don't have a Y, but let's try hitting Y the way they ask. Oh, no, I can't hit Y. So, so I think I have to hit yes. So it's not exactly as they said here, but the option to abort auto provision, so abort power on auto provisioning, I can do, and then I can continue with normal setup. So it looks like I have to set a password and basic configuration though. Now that I hit Y instead of, or now that I typed in yes instead of typing in skip. So it's going to be quite a bit different from here. Okay, but I typed in yes. I think it's what they were expecting. Oops, and let's see what happens. What happened because I typed in yes. I don't see where that happened, but they are. Oh, okay. So looks like they asked me again, even though I already typed in yes. Aha, here we go. So do you want to enforce Secure's password standard? So this is where I messed up before. I had typed in yes here, and I meant to type in no because this is just a lab equipment, and I don't want to enforce that. So I'm going to have it fail the secure standard. Okay, well, it looks like I don't have the option to select this. It looks like it either selected it yes automatically without me putting in anything in, or I typed in yes too many times by accident, and where I meant to type in yes here, I had already done so, and therefore the next time I typed in yes, it applied to here. I'm not sure which one happened, but there's really nothing wrong with using secure passwords, so I'll just use Cisco class. Oops. So, yep, so I've got to have lowercase, uppercase, and then digits and special characters. So I guess I only need 3 out of those 4 things. So I'll do C1 SCO CLASS. So C1 CO CLASS. Okay, and then I don't want the basic configuration dialog. Okay, so user is going to be admin password. Okay, so everything's good now. I'm going to make some notes in the image too. So up here, I'm going to go to, yep, and now do configure template, and then usage. See if there's a way I can add notes here. Perfect. All right, I wish this TV were a bit more, like the picture's a little bit not, oh, maybe because it's, oh yeah, this game mode I think is a lot better. Yeah, I like this game mode. Picture mode game. Everything's a little bit sharper. And it looks like things are a little bit less run off the screen as well. So game mode is on. Aspect ratio, I think before I had determined wide, it will be just fine. So yeah, I think everything's for the most part okay, better than it was with that game mode being on. So, okay, so we've got notes. So let's set this up the way they had said to do in exercise Cisco _2. Oh, and I need my chair up a little bit higher. Oh, that size didn't go actually. Right, I'll just bring the desk down. All right, perfect. So let's take a look at that Cisco _2 and hopefully okay, so here it is. We've got name, hosts. So we're going to need to look at the host file. Oh, it's just hosts. So Nexus by name, these are going to be the hosts. So we've got switch 1 and switch 2. They're in the same subnet. So oops, and looks like we've got a username that a password that I'm no longer using. So let's fix that. Perfect. So, yep, now that's good. You can see that our changes made it in there. So now we're going to need to handle the networking side. And since they want the 2 Ciscos and the port on the control server to be in the same network, they want a broadcast network for that. I'm going to use an Ethernet hub, just as I had it before. Okay, and this is switch 1, so now I'm going to need a switch 2. And hopefully I won't have those same, actually on this one I might need to keep an eye out for that auto boot. It'd be nice if I could turn off the complex password on it. It's just a lab device, doesn't require that. It'd be nice if I could get this webcam up there if it's. Yeah, I bought this for a machine learning course I was taking, but it was meant to be on Raspberry Pi, so you can pin them up in your house. You can have it keep track of like how much time you spend in each of your rooms. There's another one where it can, if you're driving, you can pin it up on your dashboard, and it can tell you if you're too drowsy to safely drive. I recommend that you get off the road as soon as you can. A lot of really cool things you can do with computer vision. It's just, and to be honest, yeah, it's like, it's work. It's not super easy to figure out how to use computer vision, but I had seen, like, it's not impossible. Like, the average person can definitely learn how to use computer vision and machine learning, especially machine learning, because it's really just um, gathering data is all it really is, and kind of labeling your data. It's not even a really like, just I found that a lot of what machine learning is isn't necessarily technical. It's not like coding where you've got to do logic and all this. You're just labeling a data set. Perfect. So it looks like that webcam fits really nicely on top of the TV. So we might be switching to that later. And I could probably even plug it into the TV instead of my computer, because it's just getting power. Really wish I had those foot stands that they said I would have. Oh, so it looks like that USB port is just for a USB flash drive. You can't use it for power over USB. So unfortunately, in order to use that, I think I would need to stop the video. Oh, no, I can just switch it over. Here we go. So here's that second camera. Yep, sure enough, it looks a lot better. Yeah, I think this is much, much better. So I'm no longer completely white. I look a little bit more normal. I think I'm a little bit blurry, but I like this a lot better. Let me know in the comments if you like this or not. But for now, let's keep moving. Oh, it looks like I need some software. Might help it. Oops, so here's the prompt. Yep, we're going to continue with auto provisioning. So I only hit yes once this time. I know it's not a matter of me. Aha, so yeah, now I can do no. So now the password can be anything I want it to be. So you know what? I think I kind of want to just make it, well, it's really no big to have it be Cisco class. Okay, so now we've got switch 1 and switch 2. I'm going to need to change the so admin class. Okay, so I'm going to need to change the host names on these. I want this one to be switch 2. And I want this one to be switch 1. Oops, so that's an invalid command. I believe it's copy run start. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so that looks good. So still gotta wire them up. Okay, so we've got ENS 1, which I think maps to 3 higher, so it'll be ENS 4. Let's take a look. Yep, ENS 4 here. Let's see what we've got. So we got 172.16.1.1. Yeah, so I think that'll work. Yeah, and we'll need to make these /24s. It's no problem at all. But we're of course going to need to know which port is live on them. Okay, so this one is up. For comparison, let's look at the second one. Oh, this one is up too. So I guess I'm not sure which port that maps to. Looks like showing description is quite a bit different on this one. Oh, here we go. Oh, link not connected, but that's for management 0. Let's do a pipe include. Oh, it is all lowercase. I thought it was uppercase. So yeah, these are all up. So I mean, I'm pretty sure it's just 1-1. So we'll just try that, and then if it pings, we're all good. If it doesn't, then there's issues. So I'm gonna put this over here and go back to my configuration. So we're going to do, oops, I'm in configure private, but it looks like I have configured private. Do I have a commit? No. Okay, so it's going to be int eth11, and then no switch port, just in case. And then we're going to do IP address, and this is switch 1, 172.16.1.142/4. No shut. So now, if this is the right port, should be able to ping 1.1. Nope. So yeah, I've got nothing in my route table, including directly connected routes. I don't even have a directly connected route. So clearly that must not have been the right interface, because if it was, I would have a directly connected route for it. I'm going to try moving this. Is this better angle like this or an angle like that? I'm not sure. just doesn't seem like a good angle. All right, so what matters though is getting this up. And it's interesting that I have 128 interfaces because I definitely don't have that many when I go to try to cable this up. I've only got, looks like 9 interfaces. Oh, so yep, still don't even have the so nothing. It's not even configuring on there. Oh, it's set up for switchboard right now. There we go. Okay, so hopefully, yes, now we've got a direct route in the table. So it's just because I was using configure private. Oh, we still can't. Aha, now it works. So let's see what that configure private is. Oh, I wasn't even doing configure private. I was doing configure profile. Oh, looks like I was actually doing configure private, but it's like a secret mode or something. That's interesting. But, yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what that's all about and why it's not in the help menu. But anyways, let's continue on. So in order to do that, yep, we're going to need to set up the second one. Perfect. This is going to be configure terminal, which is used to Junipers at this point. And interface ETH11, no switch port, IP address 172.16.1.143, I believe. I'll double check. Yep. 255.0/24, no shots. Do a short route. Yep, we've got a route. And I'll try ping for the other two. Oh, destination was unreachable. Perfect for switch 1, and then oops, perfect for switch 2 as well. It's kind of an interesting destination host unreachable, because usually you just get a timeout when it's ARPing. You don't get a destination host unreachable, so it's a little bit different than it normally is. So let's try to, oh, well, before we move on, of course, let's be good Cisco users, and let's do a copy run start. Okay, so now let's try the script. Okay, so looks like there's issues already. So I did close the book. I can just bring it up really fast though. No problem. Yeah, I'm really liking this setup with the giant TV. It's a lot. I find it's really easy to work on this. So I'm feeling really good about working remote from home for an extended period of time for the first time. I mean, I've already been doing it for a few weeks, but my setup was just kind of thrown together because it wasn't an official thing. I didn't know how long I'd be working remote. I could have been called back into the office the next day, so I didn't really kind of have it be something that I would expect to do long term, and now I have it set up that way, and I really like it. This is a really good way to work. Just have a big screen TV in front of your face you're using as a monitor. Really don't have to strain my eyes at all. I can look out the window just by leaning over. I think I got pretty good lighting from my webcam too, so yeah, I just need to figure out the problem with having bad sound, and I think I'm really good to go. And I didn't even spend like hardly anything too. Okay. Yeah, I actually spent $5 for the cable for my thing, and I got free shipping. So there were two other things I wanted to get on Amazon that I just decided to pick up, and I ended up spending $40 just so I could get that $5 cable with free shipping. But the extra things I bought, I kind of wanted anyway, and it would have cost me over $100 to get a nice to get like the classic YouTuber mic. So I'm pretty happy with that, because I was pretty happy with the audio of that other mic. It's just, it eats up batteries so fast. I can't even make 2 or 3 videos without having to change the batteries on it. Okay, so here's how I handle it. So it's going to be Ansible playbook. Oops, and I think I'm going to need to start my virtual environment. Let's just see, for the sake of review, in case anyone's watching this and is a bit more of a beginner. Let's just see what happens if I run this without initializing my virtual environment. I think it's kind of an essential part of learning and being in the lab, is being able to see those error messages. If you just hide it from you, have everything work perfectly, you're kind of robbing yourself of the chance to learn. So, and yeah, this actually makes sense that I wouldn't need it to be installed, because I'm just running Ansible, so it's like, so it is going to be in my global space, I think. Aha, okay, so here's the problem. I don't have, oh, I wish I could read this. Here we go. Yeah, so if I do that Ansible ping command that they said before, it's not going to be successful because I don't have SSH enabled. So what was it? Ansible. And then should be a ping. Like a playbook for ping. I forget how that was done, but that's why I have this book. I can go back and see. And one thing I can even do is search for Pong, because I know that's going to be the response, and that's a pretty unusual response. So yep, there we go. So yep, here's where it responds as Pong. So yep, all you've got to do to test it is do Ansible-I hosts, and that will automatically, oh, no, you do need more. You've got to do a, okay, so let's see here. We're going to do clear. We'll do Ansible-I hosts 192.168.1.2.122-m ping. So this is going to be successful because this is the Ubuntu server. Nothing different about that. I just had to recreate. Yep, so we've got our Pong here. But I did have to recreate the Nexus devices because they weren't moving up. So those we're going to have issues with. Right. So yeah, and this is because I used to have them set up properly, but they just weren't booting up, so I had to redo them. So let's set up SSH. So it's going to be, if it's anything like Cisco, it's going to be IP SSH version 2. Yeah, SSH. It's going to be, I thought it was like crypto, yeah, key generate. I need to give it an IP. Oh, this is something I can do though. Crypto key generate RSA modulus 2048. Oh, I'm surprised that worked because I don't have a domain name. So okay. So it looks like it's a bit different to configure SSH. Yeah, so I've already got them. Let's just try to SSH. Oops, and it's going to be class key. We've got a new key now. Perfect. So switch 1 is ready to go. Let's do switch 2. It's going to be 143. Okay, so it looks like SSH is already enabled by default on a Nexus switch, which is kind of nice. Let's run that ping again. Oops, so failed to connect to the host via SSH, user access permission denied. Yep, and it looks like it's using GNS3. It's using the wrong host name for that. So I'm not sure, which is interesting because I have the host name set up here. I have the host name set up here. So why is it not able to use the one I set up and it's just using one by default? Maybe I've got to, let's see here. So, because I'm doing the -I hosts, what if I do Nexus by name? So looks like it's doing DNS lookups. Yeah, could not resolve, name or service unknown. So I've got to have DNS enabled. I mean, I can do that. There's no problem with that. I'll do that. Okay, so that's the, oops. Oh, I think it's, yeah, it's a read only. Oh. Still not able to resolve. Permission denied. Which is interesting because I just was able to get in. Could not resolve host name, Ansible hosts. See, this has been my experience with Ansible, unfortunately. Every guide I've done that has claimed that Ansible is straightforward and easy has proceeded to give instructions that only work in absolute, complete on-rails environments that they have paid to access. So in the real world, in production, I'm not sure how usable Ansible really is. And even in my world here, you can see I'm having all sorts of trouble with it. But I think we could figure out what's going on, because it looks like it's saying that the host is unreachable. Yeah, so I wonder if it just needs this. So let me try this. So see, I don't know why it's able to, and why is it using a different, because if I just do a SSH, yeah, I don't get a key error here. Oh, I'm using the wrong host name now, but you can see I did not get a prompt where I had to do yes or no. So I'm only getting that if I use Ansible for SSH. So what if I get rid of this Ansible host equals? And if that doesn't work, what if I what if I just say switch to equals? So still getting permission denied. Oh, and it's still using the wrong name. Even though I did give it in the, but you can see again, it's in the bars. So, but I thought that automatically tied in here. But I mean, we can try that. So we've got something new here, but it could not match the host pattern. And then we still got this message that only pops up when we use Ansible. So yeah, unfortunately, this has, for the most part, been my experience with Ansible. It's kind of sad because you do hear a lot of people kind of singing its praises, but I honestly, I have not seen a lot of people use Ansible, especially not on extreme on-rails environments that they pay to access, such as Viral, as the author of this book is using. So in the real world, or in just a custom situation, in my own experience, I have not been able to get Ansible to work. It's just too, there's too many factors, and it's too far removed from how you would normally do networking for it to be intuitive or easy to use. So yeah, my experience with Ansible, unfortunately, has been, for the most part, kind of negative. Looks like the authors had better experience, but again, the author is not doing this in production. They're doing it in a really controlled environment. Let's do a Google search. So we're going to say good experiences with Ansible, with the abortion bill, with Ansible. So here we go. We got strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, here we go. Lessons from, yeah, my experience, pros and cons. why they love it. I like that too. Okay, so we've got a few really good ones. This one, yeah, just a bunch of, it's not going to be good, but this Medium article looks really interesting. So, yeah, it's pretty short too. So let's just give the whole thing a read. It was about 2 years ago that we started experimenting with Ansible in one of our projects. Now Ansible is widely adopted in 3 projects, automating all aspects of our provisioning and deployment process from basic setup, configuration of OS parameters, formatting and mounting disks, setting up LDAP, DNS, and NTP, creation of bridges and VMS, to deployment of required infrastructures, Kafka, Hadoop, monitoring solution, and Docker orchestrator. And finally, deployment of our automated artifacts and preparation of their working environments. So already you can see they're using it for more of its original intent. They're not using it for network automation. So this is where I'm really skeptical, because we can see, yeah, it seamlessly worked with the other server, but with the networking gear, it's not working as well. So I have no doubt that they had really seamless, nice experience using it for other Linux servers. Okay, so this I think is just for using it with other Linux servers. I have no doubt that it's really nice for that. Even in my own lab, I have had success doing that. So let's go on to the next one. So looks like again they're using this on Linux servers as it was meant to be used. Yep, so they're setting up. Okay, so that one's, I think, about Linux servers as well. This is about deployments. Let's do a more specific search. Ansible for network automation experiences. So I know Reddit is a good way to get user accounts. So let's see what Reddit says. Yeah, this one looks pretty good. Let's look at these other ones though while that's loading up. Pros and cons. This looks good. So this is pros, simple, easy to learn. I find for network engineering, you know, you're going to tell me that this is simple and easy. Like, come on, really? Why is this popping up here where it wasn't popping up before? Why is it using the wrong host name when I specified it in the host file? Like, that is not a pro, at least when you're not using it for its original intent with other Linux servers. I really do not think this is true for kind of off-label uses. So this, yeah, definitely a pro, like Python. Nice and easy to pick up and use. I like it. So agentless. Now this is something that's to me kind of ridiculous, because I can't imagine a system that isn't agentless. So for managing those, Ansible handles all master-client communications The standard SSH or the Paramico module. Yeah, so you're just using the Paramico module anyway with Ansible. So I don't understand why you don't just use the Paramico module. I guess it's because you get these playbooks, but even then you can code it anyway. It's just a matter of saving yourself time and using the work that somebody else has already done and probably done better than you could ever do. But that's not always the case, especially when you're setting something up for a custom environment. So this is why when I hear people say how much they love Ansible, I really kind of cringe, because it's like, okay, well, where are you using it? Are you using it in a controlled environment that you paid for, or are you using it for a specific application? Because if you're using it in that case and it's working, I want to see what you're doing, because I personally have not been able to use it off the rails or off label. So, and me being a network engineer, that's what I would be using it for, because I'd be using it for network automation. So I found in my experience the best way to network automation is to just use plain old Paramico and do what you want and put in the extra time. For me, I was able to write out a script that continually pulled back information from a device and then put a chat alert saying if that information was something that required further investigation on our part. So it was monitoring memory usage statistics, and if it got above a certain amount, I would pull back the information, I think every 5 minutes. It would send us a chat alert that just took me 5 hours to come up with, I think. So, you know, that's just 5 hours, which for 5 months afterwards, we get the thing we need. So, you know, that might seem like a lot of time, 5 hours, but the fact is I was able to get it to do exactly what it needed to do in that time. And that's something I don't know that can be done in Ansible, to have something work exactly 100% how you want it to work and not how somebody else thinks you need it to work. Okay, so I think here's the kind of money resource. I really like r/networking. When I was in networking school in 2013 to 2015, this is where my lab partner found Kirk Byers and sent me a link to Reddit. And, you know, at the time I thought, oh, well, it's Reddit, you know, these, can I really trust what's on the site? But yeah, there's some really good things coming from r/networking on Reddit. This is where Kirk Byers first started advertising his network automation courses. So Reddit is a really, really good source for networking and networking automation too. Oh, the problem is that I'm lacking motivation to get started, getting involved, putting the time in to learn it all. Well, let's see here. Okay, so I use both of these today. Ansible is great for creating configuration templates and deploying them onto devices. For example, I have a playbook that does VPN config on Junos OS devices, so I just change out the parameters and run it. We run full mesh VPN between all our locations, so it saves me a ton of time when we spin up a new site. Yeah, okay, I could see that in a playbook. Yeah, that'd be pretty nice. Python is fantastic for so many things. We'll give you 2 examples of what I've done. Create a script that tests connectivity. Okay, so that sounds like he's just using regular like Paramico. Like here he's using Ansible, but here he's just using the regular bare bones Paramico module. And yeah, he's able to do all of this. So yeah, it seems like it's not just a one or the other thing. It's like some things it makes sense to use Ansible. Some things it makes sense to just do it bare bones and spend the extra time. Something like just creating a configuration template. If you used Ansible, I bet you could do it a lot faster than if you just use, Paramico. 5 hours is a lot of time. Let's look at this cartoon. How long can you work on making a routine task more efficient before you're spending more time than you save across 5 years? So how often you do the task? 50 times a day or yearly? So if you spend 1 second, how much time you shave off? If you shave 1 second off of a task by spending time on automation, and you would do this 50 hours a day, you only get 1 day to write out your automation for that. Otherwise, you're wasting more time by writing out the automation than if you just continue doing it manually. But you can see, if you don't do your tasks frequently, that really starts to change. So if you can only shave 1 second of time off of a task by automating it, but you don't do it very frequently at all, you've got to be a pretty darn good programmer, because if you can't write your program in 5 seconds or less, you're not going to be saving anyone any time. So this is interesting. I kind of trust the person who made this cartoon to have these figures be, for the most part, accurate. So this is kind of funny. So I would say it wasn't 50 times a day, but I would say it was probably 10 times a day is a realistic. And I did end up saving a full day of time, if not 2 days of time for some automation I implemented in my last job. I made it so that you could configure TACX on a device just by running a script instead of contacting an external department. So the external department was swamped. It wasn't even their main task. So sometimes you just get the middle finger back from them saying, why the hell can't you do this yourselves? And we'd say, because we don't have access to the ACS server, and we need you to create an entry, please. And go forward sometimes over a full day, sometimes 2 days. So I ended up shaving at least 1 day from the task through my automation. And we did the task about 10 times a day at least. So I would get, according to this, like if I took more than a few years to develop it, which I mean, it took me a while. Like it definitely took me like a few days, but I should get years to do it. So, and it didn't even take me a few days. I was on the phone a lot, so in between calls, I'd just be like, okay, and then start working on it. So it's like 5 minutes here and there for a few days, and I got it up and running, and it's good to go. But a lot of what I had to do is just talk to people in charge and say, like, hey, we need this thing. Can you help us get this thing? And they're like, yeah, okay, here's this thing. And then once I had all the things I need, I could put the code. So oftentimes what I've found is when you're doing a coding project, scripting project, it's the people-based stuff that is more difficult than the code-based stuff, because you've got to ask people for things and they might not give it to you. If they don't give it to you, you can't do the thing. And you've got to escalate it to your manager, prove that you actually need it, and then, you know, so it can get really complicated before you even sit down at the computer and write your first line of code. Like, that's the easy part, I found. All right. So, yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm just going to skip through this. From that experience with Reddit, I think that was a good answer. I'm only going to be really using Ansible if I need like a configuration template. For the most part, I'll be using NetMiko, Nornir, Paramiko, that sort of thing. That's really what kind of that's really the warp drive. So Ansible is just kind of nice, but it's really not the end all to know in network automation. Okay, so I think I'll just type out this _3 because I have not done that yet. And we'll just call _2 a bus, unfortunately, and work on _3. Right, so in order to access the nested data, we can use the following notation as specified in Cisco _3.yaml. Oops, and this is interesting because it doesn't have the 3 dashes that most scripts have. Yeah, most scripts start with 3 dashes, name, and then like that. Let's just print out Cisco _2 again. So yeah, it looks good. Hosts and access by name, gather facts false, connection local. Bars, I mean, here we go. We've got Ansible hosts, we've got username, we've got passwords. So I don't understand why it wasn't using that. It was in fact using just the default username here. It wasn't plugging in a variable from the host file. All right, so yeah, I'm not sure what to do with, oh, okay, it looks like I would just put it under, I would just kind of add this to, yeah, it looks like I would add this to the file before. So one thing I can always do, of course, is I've got, let's see here, and yeah, it's running off the page. I can do a shrink on this. There we go. Yeah, and now I can do, because I pulled down the repo. So, yep, and you can see if I do a ls-al pipe grep, or just a ls-al. Oops, so I thought this was a Git repository. Oops, and it's still running off the screen. There we go. Oh, it's kind of blurry now, though. Can't win. Yeah, it's too blurry. Well, that's too bad. Okay, well, this is pretty good. Sweet. I thought this was a GitHub repo. Oh, it looks like it is. Well, where's the .git? Oh, there it is. Okay, it's just, I thought hidden files were at the top by default, but it looks like they're not. So here's the .git. So yep, this is Git repo. Looks like I did make some changes in there. Let's take a look at chapter 3 and what they have for their files here. Oops, and this is going to be, I think this is chapter 4 actually. Yeah, so it's chapter 4, cat Cisco_2.yml. So yep, they've got everything that I had, exactly the same. One thing I'm curious to try though is Ansible. I think it was _ playbook -I and then hosts and then Cisco_2.yml. We can use the same name without specifying the path because it's a relative path. So even though we've got 2 files with the same name, we've got 1 file in this path here, and then we've got another file just in this path here, the home directory. So since we're specifying a relative path, it knows to look into the one that we're using now. So it looks like we've got kind of a better result now. So I don't know if I had a typo in the other one or what was going on. Yeah, so look at this, it worked. I don't know. Oh, maybe because I've got aha, yep, so this is so my hosts file is completely different in the repo than the one that I happen to put together otherwise. So let's see what the differences are. Let's see where, aha, so here's our nexus by name. So this is all on one line. That's probably the difference. I'm surprised it worked though, because our username and password is not in fact Cisco. It's something different. So I'm surprised. Okay, yep. So it did fail. So I think if we go in and change these to be correct, or even go back to my script in the home folder and change this to be all on one line. Yeah, and then edit the Cisco by name vars. I think we'll probably be good to go. I'm kind of tempted to try that, so let's go back to the home. Let's do a by hosts, and then let's put this on one name. So it's going to be Nexus, or it's going to be, oh shoot, what is it? It's, well, I'm going to look it up in the example here. So it's going to be Nexus by name, and then, oops, well, that's not it. Here it is. So Ansible host. They say to put it on 2 lines, but that might just be because of how I have it listed out in Kindle. For the most part, I've been pretty happy with Kindle, but just because my expectations for it have been that essentially it would be completely unusable. All right, so let's see if that works. So Ansible playbook -I hosts. I think that's all we need. Nope, we need some more arguments. Oh, I gotta give the name of the playbook. There it is. Yep, it already looks a lot better. Hopefully we don't get that failed anymore. Failed equals 0. Aha, look at this. Look at this. Oh, but it did fail on the second one, but the switch one, if I pull up, oh, it's a timer. So this is going to be admin. Oops. Yep, C1 is CO, CLASS. So we'll do a show run now. We should see an SMMP. Yep. So server contact, test one, perfect. Which I'm surprised because one thing, if I go back to my hosts, oh, okay, no, I do have it right. I do have it admin. So why did the other one fail? Let's see here. So, aha, look at this. Okay, so this one did unexpected failure. So I'm not sure why this one failed, but I am really happy that there's just one failure now, and we were able to see a successful one. So this is idempotent. Oh, okay. So there's an offending. Yeah, so for some reason it's not able to work now. Oh, that's interesting, but if I, oh, I gave it the wrong, okay. Now, here's the kind of neat thing about Ansible. So it's idempotent. So changed equals 0 because it had already been changed and it was able to detect that. So SSH, and then it's going to be admin at switch 2. Yes. So yeah, there's something going on where I can't configure that. Let me try just configuring this here. Oh, it looks like I don't have keys on switch 2 the same way I do on switch 1. So crypto key param. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't have that same crypto key command on here, so I think I'm going to add that. So let's do a show start, because one big problem we might have is, yep. So I'm going to do a show run, pipe include SNMP, and I'll do SNMP server contacts, just keep it more simple. And you see, yep, all day I've got that in the show run because I ran the Ansible script against it. But this is where it gets interesting. Is it in my show start? It's not. So Ansible by default does not do a copy on start. So that's something to be really aware of whenever you're doing any sort of automation. You've got to have somebody who is competent, who understands what to do manually in order to do something automatically. That has to be an absolute requirement. You've got to have, if it's not you, you've got to get somebody in the room who knows why you're automating it, what you need to do to automate it. Otherwise, stuff like this will happen where you automate the whole thing, but you don't do the copy run start, and then it boots up and you've lost the whole config, and nobody knows why, because they're all programmers who know how to use Ansible, and there's no network engineers in the room. So, okay. So let's continue on here. So I got it to work. Unfortunately, it didn't configure both of them. I think I'm going to try it again now that I have that RSA on there. Maybe that's the difference. I'm not sure. Yep, so that was the difference. So now we've got changed equals 1, we've got OK, and then we still got our changed equals 0 because it's idempotent, and we already made those changes on switch 1. So for the same reasons, I can run it again, and we're going to see OK on both of these, but we're now going to see changed 0 on both of these because it is idempotent, which is a huge advantage over something just like regular bare bones Paramiko scripting, because you've got to build in idempotency then. Like all of the stuff behind the scenes, pulling stuff back, is going to be taken care of for you when you use something like Ansible or Nornir or even NetBeco. When you're on your own, though, you're on your own. All right, so let's move on to the next one. So this is going to be Ansible _playbook. Yep, so this is running it, which we did. So now we're going to add some more things to it. In order to access the nested data, we can use the following notation as specified in there. So, yep, we're just going to be adding that in there, I believe. So let's do a cat of Cisco _2. There we go. And now let's go into the GitHub repo for chapter 4. And now let's do a cat of the Cisco _3. Yep, so _2. Yep, it looks like it's exactly the same as _2, but it's got an extra task under register output. Before we just had this name, which we're actually still, it looks like we're not going to have that anymore. We're just going to have these two different names. I think there's a way to do a diff. So diff Cisco _2.yml, and then we can do Cisco _3.yml. Ah, perfect. So, yeah, I guess I've never really used the diff before, so I'm not sure what everything means. It looks like there's two arrows, one going to the left, one going to the right. So there are quite a few differences in the file. But I'm just going to move over and see if I can get this to work just by appending the .2 file, or the Cisco _2 file. So I'm going to get rid of this name here. All right. Okay, so we've already got, so we've already got configure SMMP contact. And we've got test one, state present, provider CLI. We've already got that. Register output. Yep, we've already got that. So now we've got a new one down here. There we go. So this is going to be name as well. Show output in output and state. Oh, and then one more. Contact. Okay, and now debug. And let's see if I can get this a bit more readable here. Here we go. So I click the letters. Yeah, let's make this wider. Okay, so yeah, that looks a lot better. Yeah, debug, and then within the debug, we're going to have SG. Oops. There we go. It's going to be outputs and state. Contact. Perfect. I wish it would not indent like that. I like the indentation right here. Yeah, so apologize to anyone who is amazing at Lie. Please show me the way. I am not worthy. All right, so let's see if this works. Oops, we're going to be running Cisco_2. So now we're just going to have an extra task that shows the results of the configuration that we did. Remember that the configuration we did does not include saving the startup config, the running config to the startup config, which is a really essential task. So we've got an undefined variable. So let's compare it to how it looks in the answer key. Oh, it's called last one. Yeah, there you go. And then it's in chapter 4. And then it's going to be Cisco_3.yml. So it looks quite a bit different. Looks like the indentation is totally different. I don't think that matters. I'm not sure if it matters or not. Tasks looks quite a bit different. Oh, yeah, we still got register output. Yeah, so everything looks actually pretty similar. It's just that the indentation is different. Let's try their version, see if it works. Am I the only one bothered by this? Why do they have to be in different places? Maybe it's a feature, not a bug. But let's see here. So yeah, it doesn't work on theirs either. So I'm not sure what the problem is. Kind of ready to move on though, given a lot of time to Ansible. So it's time to move on with the rest of the book, especially since I'm more of a believer in just straight up automation using just pure Python knowledge. I think that's much more useful. So lastly, we mentioned variables can also be stored in a separate file. To see how we can use variables in a role or included file, we should get a few more examples under our belt because they are a bit complicated to start with. We will see more examples of roles in Chapter 5, the Python Automation Framework Beyond Basics. So templates with Jinja 2 is the next section, so I'll move up my bookmark. All right. In the previous section, we used variables with the Jinja 2 syntax of curly brace, variable, end curly brace. While you can do a lot of complex things in Jinja 2, luckily, we only need some of the basic things to get started with Ansible templates. Jinja 2 is a full-featured, powerful template engine that originated in the Python community. It is widely used in Python web frameworks such as Django and Flask. For now, it is enough to just keep in mind that Ansible utilizes Jinja 2 as the template engine. We will revisit the topics of Jinja 2 filters, tests, and lookups as the situations call for them. You can find more information on the Ansible Jinja 2 template here. This concludes our rundown of Ansible's architecture. In the next section, we'll look at Ansible networking modules, where most of the network tasks we will encounter will be handled in Ansible. Ansible networking modules. Ansible was originally made for managing nodes with full operating systems such as Linux and Windows before it was extended to support network equipment. You may have already noticed the subtle differences in playbooks that we have used so far for network devices, such as the lines of gather facts, false, and connection, local. We will take a closer look at the differences in the following sections. Ansible provides nicely written documentation in how network automation is different. So this I definitely do want to look up because we did those simple searches earlier to kind of get a better sense for how people are using this. So this, I think, will be a pretty valuable thing to keep in mind. Local connections and facts. Ansible modules are Python code that's executed on the remote host by default. Because of the fact that most network equipment does not expose Python directly, or it simply does not contain Python, we are almost always executing the playbook locally on the control node. This means that the playbook is interpreted locally first, and commands or configurations are pushed out later as needed. Recall that in our server example, the remote host facts were gathered via the setup module, which was added by default. Since we are executing the playbook locally, the setup module will gather the facts on the local host instead of the remote host. This is certainly not needed. Therefore, when the connection is set to local, we can reduce this unnecessary setup or step by setting the fact gathering to no or false. Starting from release 2.5, there are fact gathering modules specific to each platform. You can take a look at the fact-demo.yaml example. Let's do that. Oh, we don't got it. So this is one of my favorite commands. It can be, it's find dash name, really useful. So let's see if this is even on. Nope, so it's not there. And it searches within the folder you're in and all the subfolders. So if it were in my home directory, it would not find it because of where is my PWD present working directory is not in my home directory. It is in this directory here. So I guess let's look at it in this link. Oh, okay. So this is just a straight up demo from the Ansible website itself. Because network modules are executed locally, for those modules that offer a backup option, the files are backed up locally on the control node as well. One of the most important changes introduced in Ansible 2.5 was the introduction of different network communication protocols of different network. Okay. The connection method now includes network CLI, netconf, HTTP API, and local. If the network device uses CLI over SSH, you indicate the connection method as network CLI in one of the device variables. It is good to be aware of both the pre 2.5 as well as the post 2.5 connection syntax. In general, you will find the post 2.5 syntax more streamlined and concise. Provider arguments. As we have seen from chapter 2, low-level network device interactions, and chapter 3, APIs and intent-driven networking. Network equipment can be connected via both SSH and API, depending on the platform and software release. All core networking modules implement a provider argument, which is a collection of arguments used to define how to connect to the network device. Some modules only support CLI, while some support other values. For example, Arista supports eAPI, and Cisco supports NX API on the Nexus platform. Starting with Ansible 2.5, the recommended way to specify the transport method is by using the connection variable. You will start to see the provider parameter being gradually phased out from future Ansible releases using the iOS_command module as an example. The provider parameter still works, but is being labeled as deprecated. Yep. So it looks like there's a number of things that are labeled deprecated. We will see an example of this later in this chapter. Some of the basic arguments supported by the provider transport are as follows. Host, this defines the remote host. Port, this defines the port to connect to. Username, this is the username to be authenticated. Password, this is the password to be authenticated. Transport, this is the type of transport for the connection. So this is where it can be multiple kinds of transport that they were highlighting here. Authorize, this enables privilege escalation for devices that require it. Auth pass, this defines the privilege escalation password. As you can see, not all arguments need to be specified in the provider variable. For example, for our previous playbooks, our user always has the admin privilege when logged in. Therefore, we do not need to specify the authorize or the auth_pass arguments. These arguments are just variables, so they follow the same rules for variable precedence. For example, let's say I change Cisco_3.yaml to Cisco_4.yaml and observe the following precedents. Let's try that. So let's see what the difference is between the two. Oh. So it looks like there's a username and password that's different. Let's try that diff again. So now it makes a lot of sense. We can the diff, we can see that we've got two files here. It appears to be pointing to one file. So it looks like this file here, the one on the right, this arrow is pointing to, has these extra lines, and the one on the left does not have those lines. So let's reverse the order and see how the output is different. Now we can see that, but we can't tell if the one on the left, we can't tell. Let's do a man diff. So compare files line by line. This looks interesting, -s, I'm gonna try that. Oops, didn't work. Oh, I wanted the side by side. Oh, it's -y, okay. There we go. So now we get the two files side by side. And then we see that the file Cisco4, we can see these extra lines here. Cisco4 belong to Cisco4 and not to Cisco3. So this looks really useful. I like this feature of Linux. Okay. The username and password defined at the task level will override the username and password at the playbook level. I will receive the following error when trying to connect because the user does not exist on the device. So let's get that error ourselves. So Ansible playbook -i hosts Cisco for 4.yml. So we've got two of them failed. Oh, it looks like we're going to need maybe a -pvv at the end. Here we go. Now it's much more verbose. In the next section, we will dive deeper into examples for managing Cisco devices. So I don't see where it will tell me that it wasn't able to log in. which I think is kind of unfortunate. That would really save a lot of trouble if it would just tell you that it couldn't log in. And that's something you could easily do yourself. I mean, instead of just talking about it all day, I'll show just how easy this really is. So, oh, and this is Python 2. So let's look at Python 3. Import go. Oh, and I'm going to need to, yep, I'm going to need to do my virtual environments. So Python 3. Oops, I got to start it. So source VMV activates Python 3, import Nico, and then I believe it's with open, or sorry, with Nico.ssh clients. It's going to be, oh, sorry. SSH. Switch one. Cisco admin. And then it's going to be class once. Oh, we don't even need to put that there because we've already got it saved. Okay, so now it's going to be SSH dot invoke shell, and now SSH dot send shell run result equals SSH dot receive 6.1. Let's see here. So serve name not supported for AI sock type. Let's do a help. Let me go. SSH clients. Okay, so we're going to need to do. Oh, did I do a document? Yeah. So host name. Yep, and this is all. Does it have to take an IP? Oops, we're still getting some issues here, but I don't think it's, oh, I think I do need to, yeah, because they're not positional arguments, I need to say username and password. Yep. But you can even see, look at how easy it is to get help on this. I think I'm kind of proving a second point here, and just how much easier it is to use this, in that if I'm stuck, I can't figure out what to do. You know, it's just the built-in help away. It's really easy to get help. Oops. And I could be using something like Python and making this a lot easier on myself. Oops, so now I've got to do verify false. Oh, I thought verify was. Oh, allow agent equals false. Look for keys equals false. Okay, so I know there's a way I can auto add the key. I think we're going to need to do that. So that's kind of exposing the security vulnerability a bit with that, because you're automatically adding the key. But I'm not sure how Ansible does that. It probably, I would think, does it the same way. But I don't think I'm disproving my point here by it taking me a little bit more than I kind of thought it would. I'm going to need to kind of look up on my own code and see how I used to do this. Okay, well, I don't have an example here, so I'm going to need to, on my blog or something, because I need to figure out that auto add. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is what I need to do. I need to do with that is that, and now it's going to be sh.amico or ssh dot file add policy. Yeah, I think that's right. Shell log. Let's see. Oh, yeah, SSH client object has no. Okay, so I will need to kind of figure out how I used to do this. I mean, I've been referencing a lot of my old code, so right now I'm just trying to do it off the top of my head, which is kind of. It's definitely the hard way, but I don't see any reason why I wouldn't expect myself to be able to do this. Let's go to my GNS3 and look up where I originally learned how to do this. So it's going to be back, and then it's going to be login. Yep. And it's network automation part 1 by Mihai. I definitely recommend his courses. Kind of my favorite thing about his teaching method is you really don't get the sense that, you know, he's just a god guru on a whole nother level. And, you know, you can't even ask him a question because he'll just blow your mind with his answer, or like, you know, just speak in such profound wisdom that you can barely even understand what he's saying. It really seems like he's almost kind of learning along with you, which I really like. Because sometimes when you're learning from just an absolute, it's like Kirk Byers, this is kind of my criticism of his courses, is he's just on such another level. It's like I can't even really follow along, especially once he gets on Vi and she knows all the shortcuts and he's just an expert on Vi. It's like I can't even really see what he's doing anymore because his cursor's just skipping around like almost inhuman all over the screen. Whereas Mihail definitely takes it piece by piece and really makes it seem like he's learning right along with you, which is, I think, really nice. Okay, so here it is, part 1, found it. So we're gonna look at the templates that he had for Paramigo and SSH. So it's near the bottom. So, or was it in the, where was this? I think it might have been in part 2, actually. No. I thought it was in part 1. Oh yeah, here it is. All right. So a little embarrassing that I had to look it up, but definitely very easy for me to do that since I'm a user of that course. So yeah, it's going to be, yep. So I'll demonstrate how it needs to be. So we've got this, and then the first thing will be SSH dot set missing host key policy Miko dot auto add policy. And now there's a note here. This is for testing purposes, and this allows auto accepting unknown host keys. Do not use this in production. The default would be to reject any unknown keys and make sure that you know the keys. Ideally, you would even turn off password authentication and just use public keys for authentication. That's, I think, the most secure and the easiest way. But I'm just demoing how easy it is to do this, especially in comparison to something like Miko. Perhaps I'm failing to do that because I did have to look it up. And even if I didn't, I would have to piggyback on a lot of the experience I have with this. So that'd be more difficult than I give it credit for. I mean, I personally like, if it is easier to use Paramiko, or sorry, NetMiko, sorry, Ansible than it is Paramiko or anything like that, like, great, I'd love to use it. I've just had personally more success with what I'm doing right now. Oh, I forgot the whole connect thing. Okay, so now I need to connect. Okay, so now just about there. Oops. Connect. Oh, right. Okay, yeah, I'm doing this wrong. So it's going to be okay. So yeah, I've got it. Okay, I know what I was doing. Okay, so now I got to do connection equals ssh.shell. Now it's going to be connection dot send. Now results equals connection dot cp. So now it's working. Oh, it looks like we didn't get the whole thing that I expected. So this is where I have like a blog post that says how to handle this. So yeah, right here. So this will prevent that sort of thing from happening. So let's type that out. So from time sleep receive connection so now we've got this. So hopefully things will be better. So let's do a with Amico dot SSH points SSH. I'm going to do yep, I'm going to do this line next. Oops, I've got a mouse. We'll use that. Paste. Oops, it didn't highlight it. Copy. Paste. Perfect. All right. Copy. Paste. Oh, so now instead of doing this, we're going to do results equals receive connection. Okay, so now we've got the whole show run. It is in bytes mode, but we can always do a dot code UTF-8. Yeah. Oops, it's still in. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, it's still in. So it's got to be decode. Or I think there's a way to convert it from bytes mode to a string. So let's do a help methods. We're going to help on decode. Help on encode. Or let's do a help on str. There we go. So string object. So let's do a help on yeah. So here we've got encode. Let's do a help on results. Or results. Oops. Let's do a type on result. So it's a string. So okay, so this is how you change it into bytes. I want to know how to change it out of bytes. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. .decode UTF-8, but that wasn't working for me. Yeah, string. Oh, sorry. It is a string object. It's just. Oh, okay. So I didn't properly decode it in my code, but you can see, maybe perhaps I did kind of not prove my own point, but I do have the text now, so I can do with it what I will, but perhaps I didn't prove my point. I kind of proved the opposite. I guess I'd be willing to admit that, especially since that's really the reason why I'm going through this book right now, to find better ways to accomplish this sort of thing. So I'll be happy to admit that my old ways could be improved upon. In fact, that's why I'm reading through this book right now, in order to do exactly that. All right, in the next section, we will dive deeper into examples for managing Cisco devices, the Ansible Cisco examples. So yeah, we're here. I probably will need a break soon. Yeah, so we ran all this. Everything's pretty good to go. So yeah, this is the next part. I'll move up the bookmark. Delete the old one. Oops, and it's having a problem we had before. Yeah, so here's the old location. Okay, so this is where I am. I'd really like to get to 30% before I stop. I'm not sure how far that would be. Let's try to get here before I take a break. Cisco's support in Ansible is categorized by the operating systems iOS, iOS-XR, and NX-OS. This is the one we're using right now. We have already seen a number of NX-OS examples. So in this section, let's try to manage iOS-based devices. Our host file will consist of two hosts, iOS-R1 and iOS-R2. So let's do that. And then remember, these are going to be on the same line, not on separate lines. This is just because I have it in narrow columns mode. So let's do that. Spelled it. There we go. So let's just remove the whole host file and then make a new. It's going to be devices OS-1 host equals 4 2 host equals 61.on. So these are going to be new devices that I will set up shortly. In our playbook, Cisco_5.yml, our playbook will use the iOS_ command module to execute arbitrary show commands. Let's do that. Oops. It was ahead 2. Oh my god, it does that. I wish it just indented one time. They did explain these parameters earlier about how you can use different things besides just CLI, local, gather facts. That was explained earlier. I unfortunately don't remember the full explanation for it, but I don't think it will be that important to know the details of that, as long as it is known how to do it. It can always be referenced later. Oops, looks like I've got 2 quotes. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to have facts and oops. Oh, now we're going to have tasks. So I'm not sure how they want this indented. Let me span this out. So vars, yep. Oh, and it looks like vars is going to have an S. There we go. And then CLI is going to be indented 1 down from vars. Oops, this is why I don't have it expanded. Okay, and then tasks will be, I think, under CLI. There we go. There we go. Now, kind of giving up on the default spacing. I'm just going with whatever I'm given because I'm kind of sick of hitting the delete key so many times. I don't think it makes a difference. I'm not sure though. I'll definitely do a comparison to the one in the GitHub repo. Perfect. So let's see if this works. And if not, we'll, oh, well, of course it's not going to work. I don't have my lab set up. Okay, so here's our hosts. Yep, and they're going to be on the same subnet. So let's set that up. We'll use these really quick and easy routers. There we go, and now we're going to need to rename them. iOS 101. Perfect. iOS 2. Perfect. So same deal, they're going to be on the same subnet, so we're going to need a hub. All right, so that looks good to go. So we're going to need to put in IP on, I think it was ENS, it was the highest one. So let's go in and do that. So ENS 6 is the highest one. So we're going to what I've learned before. I'm actually kind of surprised that, and I think I can make this bigger now. There we go. I'm actually surprised that ENS 6 already has some configuration, but what I've learned from before is you've got to remove that configuration first before adding new configuration. Ideally, I do this from the CLI, but I've kind of learned my lesson. Okay, so 92.16.1.1. 0, we don't need a gateway because this is just all going to be local area traffic. So far, perfect. So now let's set up the Cisco devices. And here I think we will need to enable SSH. So config T, IP domain name, cisco.local. Now we need crypto. We've already got a host name, so we can now do a crypto key generate RSA. Now we're going to do 2048. Yep, now line QI 015. Transport input SSH. We're going to need more than that. We're going to need a username, Cisco, password, and we can do secret Cisco. There we go. So I think we're good to go. Let's try it from here. Oh, no, we still need an IP address on the port. So this is R1, so it's going to be a 134. So let's see if we can ping that 1.1. Oops, and it looks like we can't so far, but it could just be ARPing. Oh, okay, well that's interesting. Wasn't expecting that. So this is ENS 6. Yep, that looks good. It shouldn't require any sort of subnet or anything, or any sort of gateway of last resort or default gateway. That shouldn't be required because it's just pinging onto its own network. It's good to ping itself. That's always good. Going to try. We can do show IP route. Let's take a look at the direct route. Yep, it's in there, directly connected. But for some reason it can't ping across the wire, even though the port is up, everything's up. There's some kind of issue. Let's check out the GUI on this, see if it's maybe turned off. Nope, it's turned on. So yeah, I don't know what the issue is. Okay, well, that's interesting. So maybe the wiring, it's not actually, no, it's fast Ethernet 00. Yep. .1.1. Okay, that's interesting. Just look at the show int settings on this. Could be a decent clue there. We've got a lot of packets output. Those are all our pings. Aha, I think I found the issue here. It's half duplex. Okay, so it's now duplex full speed 100, but I wonder if there's like a duplex issue on the Linux. Not sure how I can see that. Yeah, so my pings are getting to the Linux machine, but they're just not getting back. Yeah, I can ping myself. Let's see if I can ping across the wire. I think it was, yep, 134. Destination host unreachable. Oh, you know what? Yeah, okay. I think I know what the issue is. It's that I have I'm using that same network across this link. So if I were to delete this link, I should have a better time now. Yep. So yeah, that's the issue, is that I had this network being used across this link as well. So the same /24 network. So the routing table here, it's going to do a longest match, but it's going to do a longest match top to bottom. So you can see this has a little bit of a better metric through ENS4 than it did through ENS6. So if I do this again, now you can see this ENS4 one is gone because that interface is not even wired up anymore. So it's going to choose ENS6. So it was sending the traffic out ENS4 when I was trying to ping to a device over ENS6. So good networking lesson there, if anyone's watching. All right. All right, but let's continue. Hopefully I can get to that one section without needing to take a break. I think I'm ready to, I can just use the arrow key. Yep. So I'm ready to run this now that I've got the other devices reachable. Yep, so that one's good. Let's see if this one's good. Might need to ARP first. Oh, this one we've got a problem. I never actually set that one up yet. Is the problem. So let's do that right now. Before we do that, let's see if SSH is good. Oops. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember this. Right, and I remember putting a lot of time into getting this to work, and I actually did find a way to get it to work, but it's like a -O or something. -C -128 CDR. Okay, yeah, I mean, I remember this. Um, yeah, no matching key exchange method found. Their offer. So let's go for it again, quick. Yeah. So I've got to enable legacy SSH. Yeah, so it's going to be yep. Yep, and now I also need to specify the cipher. There we go. And now I can do it. Oh, I might have set it to class by accident. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sure what I set it to. Let's try setting it again. Okay, and I'm kind of failing on my Cisco education. It was a long time ago. I worked with Junipers probably more, but I forgot one of the key commands you need on the line VTY. You've got to tell it to use those local username and passwords that you configured. Otherwise, it doesn't know what you want to use. And most of the time, you won't be using that. You'll be using TACX or remote configuration anyway. So it makes sense that it would be confused as to what you're doing if you're doing it in a way that's not kind of the standard way. Just using it in a way to get it set up on your lab. There we go, and we're good to go. Oops, we didn't set up an enable password either. Oh, we gotta restart the connection in order to get the new configuration. But, oh, right, no, sorry, we gotta do enable. Yep, analysis. Perfect. There we go. So, got that one set up. Let's do a show run and get the other one set up. Okay, so this one is set up just fine. Let's do a config T. And yep, we're going to need enable secrets. Cisco. Yep, IP domain name. Local. IP domain name. Cisco. Cisco. 800. I think it's 133. I'm not sure. Book. No, it's 135. Oh, I thought I defined. Yeah, I defined a domain name right here. What the heck? Perfect. Okay, so now we've got a few more steps. Okay, so I think it's good to go now. Let's give it a try. Perfect. Yep, it's all set on this other one. All right, so let's keep working through the book, and hopefully I can get 30% of the way done before calling it quits. So, yep, so let's keep doing that. So we're going to do cat Cisco_5.yml. And looks like we've got everything. Yep, so let's try running it. Now we know it's going to fail because we've got to do some things to get it compatible with those really old school images we've got, because of course you've got to use images that you can get your hands on without violating any things that would put your certifications at risk through Cisco. So unfortunately that often means not using the latest and greatest image. Let's see if we can do a new template. And then, yeah, get a router. And let's see if there's a better image we can use. So let's do like a 3725. So what have I got now? Oh, yeah, I do have a 3725 right now. But let's try the import here. Oh, yeah, so they don't bring you to a website because there is no website where you can download this image without violating a copyright agreement. So you've got to get it. You've got to get it using methods that are compliant with that. Okay, so yeah, I mean, clearly it's not going to work because, oh, it actually looks like there's a syntax problem. I'm going to try running this again, but in the Git repo. So what do we got here? Ansible. Let's see what the hosts looks like here. So yeah, quite a bit different. So let's try just running it again. Oh, same results, and of course I wouldn't expect it to be any different. Yeah, because it's not able to log in. So they both failed. But at least I'm actually getting to this prompt now, so I'm kind of happy for that. But of course, without those special commands to make it compatible with the really old school images I'm using, this text algorithms, it's not going to work. All right, so the result is what we would expect to see as the show version and show run output. You know what, I'm just going to take the L on this and move on. I want to point out a few things illustrated by this example. The playbook between NXOS and iOS is largely identical. The syntax NXOS _ SNMP _ contact and iOS _ command modules follow the same pattern, with the only difference being the argument for the modules. The iOS version of the devices is pretty old with no understanding of API, but the modules still have the same look and feel. Well, not as old as mine, because mine have no understanding of SHA 256. As you can see from the preceding example, once we have the basic syntax down for the playbooks, the subtle difference relies on the different modules for the task we would like to perform. Yeah, I still kind of can't believe that it is that bad. I kind of want to dig around a bit more. So IPSSH. Now, is there any sort of option that would make it so I don't have to do those special extra commands? Can I specify the cipher here? Can I do anything like that? It looks like I cannot. What about crypto? And then key. Anything besides generate, import, pubchain, export? No. Yeah, so I really don't see. Is there like algorithm, KEX algorithm, something? SSH algorithm? IPSSH algorithm? No, nothing like that. So yeah, it's just, unfortunately, it's just the way it goes. There's version, I can do version 2, but that didn't change anything. All right, so let's just keep moving on. I'm gonna have to take the L on some of these examples, take the loss, but I think my record so far has been pretty good. Ansible 2.8 playbook example. We have previously talked about how the addition of network connection changes in Ansible playbook, about the addition of network connection changes in Ansible playbooks, starting with version 2.5 and beyond. Along with the changes, Ansible also released a network best practices document. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, so you can see Ansible, you know, in my kind of s-eating, or well, let me put it a better way, my kind of meant to be example of why it's easier not to use something like Ansible. It ended up to be pretty difficult. And not only that, you can see Ansible has really great documentation that of course you won't have if you just write everything yourself. So far, I'm pretty happy with how this book has kind of changed my mind into being more receptive to something like Ansible instead of just trying to hash it out using just straight up Python and Paramiko. Let's build an example based on the best practices guide. Since there are multiple files involved in this example, the files are grouped into a subdirectory named Ansible _2-8 _example with the course code files. So let's look at that. So yep, there it is. So let's do a ls on that. And there's all the stuff in there. There should be also a command tree. Yeah, let's get that command. Just makes things a lot easier. I think it'll be pretty small too. We're kind of running out of space on this, but this is a pretty small thing to install. There we go. That looks a lot better now. Either use the system installed version or switch back to Ansible version 2.8 using the get source code as illustrated before. So let's see what version we got now. So we're running 2.9.7, so we're going to have to switch back. I remember how to do that. It's just git branch. And then you can see the oh, I thought it was, where is it git checkout? I thought it was git branch. Okay, so I don't remember how to do that. I thought I did, but I'll admit that I don't. So I'm going to bookmark here, change the bookmark. Oh, it's not registering my new bookmark. Ah, here it is. So here's the old one. Get rid of that. Now let's do a search for what I thought it was. I thought it was git branch. Ah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is what I thought I remembered. Okay, so here's all the, oops, I'm in it. I'm not sure why I can't see the tags. I mean, that's what I thought it was. It's just git checkout. So let's try that. Oops. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's the thing. So we'll go with that. There we go. Jump to location. And then we'll do git checkout 2.8.5. See how this works again. Oh, right. So we've got to we've got to enable the env setup virtual environments. Oh, right. We're in the wrong GitHub repository. It's got to be in the actual Ansible repository. I'm in the repository for this book, which of course isn't going to have all the Ansible versions. There we go. So now this will all work. I think I might still need to enable the virtual environments. I'll do that. Perfect. Okay, so now let's do a Ansible version. I think we're on 2.9 still. Oh, no, we're on 2.3. So let's switch it over to 2.8.5. We're going to do git branch -a. Okay, so that looks a lot more like what I was expecting. Perfect. So we should have 2.8.5 in here. Yep, there it is. So copy paste that. We'll do git checkout. Perfect. Paste this in. Excellent. So now we're checking out 2.8.5 and we'll be good to move on. That might have been one of the reasons, well, actually no, the reasons it wasn't working is just because of networking and other things. But let's do a deactivate. Oh, guess we won't need to do that, but let's do a Ansible version. Yep, and now we're running 2.8.5. Perfect. All right. Yep, still 2.8.5, perfect. So let's do a tree on Ansible example, perfect. Okay, so let's do a cat on the host. In the previous examples, we mainly used just the inventory host file to contain both the inventory information as well as the associated variables. In this example, we will offload the variables to a separate directory named host_vars. Our inventory file is reduced to the group and the name of the hosts. Yep. Really short. In the host vars directory, there are two files. Each corresponds to the name specified in the inventory file. So let's do a tree on that. Oops. There we go, two files in there. The variable file for the hosts contains what was previously included in the CLI variable. The additional variable of Ansible_connection specifies Ansible_CLI as the transport. Okay. All right, so let's look at the second one. Yep. Our playbook will use the iOS_config module with the backup option enabled. Notice the use of the win condition in this example, so that if there are other hosts with a different operating system, this task will not be applied. So it looks like there's a conditional, kind of like the Python if statements, elif and else statements. So here's the conditional here. So if Ansible equals iOS, when the playbook is run, a new backup folder will be created with the configuration backed up for each of the hosts. So I doubt this will work because it's such an old school device I'm using. But that will be okay. Yep, so they both failed, but just being able to get to this, I think, is enough of a victory. We can see the newly created backup directory with 2 files inside. Yeah, and I'd say it's enough of a victory because in normal circumstances, production and stuff, you won't be using the kind of gear I'm using that's so old, it's just not compatible with Ansible. We can see the newly created backup directory with the 2 files inside. So let's do a tree. So yep, here's the backup, the 2 files, perfect. Oh, so yeah, let's cat out one of those backup files. We're going to do cat backup iOS-1. Oh, cat backup iOS-1. Perfect. So yep, now we got the show run backed up, really nice and easy using Ansible. Oh, so this is just an example. This isn't an actual result of what we did, but if it would work if we were using a image, let's see what image they're using. So, oh, I don't think I'll be able to see that unless I have, yeah, I won't be able to see that unless I have like a show version, but you can see just by merit of them having more things in here by default. And they have gig Ethernet interfaces. I don't even have, I only have fast Ethernet interfaces on mine. Definitely a better image than I'm using. This example illustrates the network_connection variable and the recommended structure based on Ansible network best practices. We will look at offloading variables into the host_vars directory and conditionals in Chapter 5. The Python automation framework beyond basics. This structure can also be used for the Juniper and Arista examples in this chapter. For the different devices, we will just use different values for network_connection, as well as we will see from the Juniper examples in the next section. So Ansible Juniper example, I think this is where I'm going to, oh, I almost made it through the full chapter. I'm not sure what I was planning to retell, but whatever it was, I think I read past that. So it's 11:11, I've been going at this for a long time. I want to make sure to get the video downloaded and posted because I don't have much space on my laptop, so I'm afraid I might lose it if I haven't go too long. So I'll just move my bookmark up, perfect. Then I think I'll try to clear off some space for the video. So one thing I can definitely do is delete the old video. And then I think I can delete, oh, it looks like I've got like backup for previous Zoom videos on here. So yeah, I can definitely get rid of all those. I think those are just hogging. Let's see how many. Well, I'm not sharing this screen, but it looks like they're pretty small, but there's a lot of them, so I'll just get rid of them. There's quite a lot of them, actually. Okay, so, oops. All right, so that's going to be the video for today. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.